Hello everyone, today we will discuss about locomotion in Protozoa. So first we need to learn about what is locomotion. See, locomotion is moving from one place to another in search of food, shelter, in search of mate, or to protect itself from one predator, protect itself from its predators. So organisms move from one place to another. This phenomenon is known as locomotion. Similarly, locomotion is found in Protozoa. So there are different modes of locomotion and they are done by different types of organelles. So we will learn about them one by one. So first is we have to learn about pseudopodia. This is the first type of organelle that is formed in protozoans to locomote. So first is the type 1 is pseudopodia. So what happens is that in protozoans, these organisms, if a false feet is formed, this pseudopodia is known as false feet. Suppose this is the organism. Now what will happen is that an extension will be formed like this. So this formation is known as pseudopodia or false feet. Now you will say, so why it is called false feet? Because once the activity is done, suppose the food is captured or taken inside the body, or it is engulfed, then this thing again degenerates or the formation is back to normal. The shape gets back to normal. So these are temporary in nature, so they are called false feet. Now pseudopodia are of various types. So let us learn these types. Now based on number of pseudopodia, these are of two types. So first is based on number. Based on number. Based on number. The first one is monopodia. Now what is monopodia? Mono means single. Monopodia. And second is polypodia. Now what is the difference between these two? In monopodia, what will happen is that only a single pseudopodia will be formed in an organism. Suppose this is the one. So a single pseudopodia will be formed. Or single extension will be formed. But in case of polypodia, what will happen is that suppose this is the organism. Suppose this is the organism. Here more than one pseudopodia will be formed. Suppose like this one is formed, then again like this, then again like this. So this type of formation might occur. So these are known as polypodia. I hope this much is clear. So what we have learned about pseudopodia is that these are false feet and they are of two types based on the number of pseudopodia formed. These are monopodia and polypodia. Now based on numbers, two types of pseudopodia are formed. Now based on structure, now we have to learn about based on structure of pseudopodia. These are of various types based on structure. The first one is lobopodia. What is the first one? It is known as lobopodia. What happens is that in them the pseudopodia is lobe-like. Lobe-like means it is blunt in structure. So the pseudopodia that will be formed will be lobe-like. See, it will be like this. Like this. So it is blunt in structure. Lobe-like or blunt. So these are called as lobopodia. Now lobopodia you understood. Then the second is philopodia. What happens in philopodia is that these are filament like in structure, means it is sharp, it looks like a sharp structure in the front portion. Okay, so these are called philopodia. Okay, these are philopodia. So these are used in locomotion. Okay, this philopodia and lobopodia both are used in locomotion. Now you have to understand that lobopodia is formed by both ectoplasm and endoplasm. Okay, ectoplasm plus endoplasm. But the philopodia, it is formed by only ectoplasm. Okay, now the third is reticulopodia. Okay, the third is reticulopodia. What happens is that in these organisms, the pseudopodia will form network like structure. So this organism will be like this. Okay, suppose this is the organism, it will form reticule like structure or this branching. Okay, so this is called reticulopodia. Okay, these branches will be formed in various portion of the or in various direction of the body. Okay, so their basic function is to capture food or gather food. Okay, their secondary function of reticulopodia is locomotion. In these two cases, you have seen that their basic function is locomotion. Okay, but in this case, what you will see is that their basic function is capturing food. And the secondary function is locomotion. Is locomotion. Okay, I hope this is clear, this much is clear. Okay, now next is exopodia. Okay, now let us learn about exopodia. In them, the pseudopodia is many needle like. Okay, suppose this is the structure. What will happen is that it is needle like, the pseudopodia is needle like. In them also, the function of the pseudopodia is mainly to capture food. Okay, I hope this much is clear. Then the second type of locomotion in protozoa, now pseudopodia is clear. Okay, then the second type is called myonemes. Okay, the second type is called myonemes. So this is the type 1 pseudopodia. Okay, type 1. Now type 2 is done by myonemes. Or these are called pellicular contractile structure. I will come to that. pellicular contractile structure. Okay, what will happen in them is that this is found in Euglena, or this is of various type. So we will discuss about Euglena here. Suppose let us draw as Euglena. Now what will happen is that the pellicular or the pellicell is present below the cell membrane. Okay, it is present below the cell membrane. So in them you will find groove like structure like this. These are grooves. What happens in them is that these structures help in the locomotion by contracting. Okay, so the body will contract and it will move forward, and it will again relax and contract. So this motion helps in the movement of the Euglena. Okay, so these are known as contractile structure, pellicular contractile structure. Okay, now the next is the third type is the flagella. Okay, type 3. Here is the flagella. What happens in flagella is that here the organism will have like this suppose this is the organism, it will have this long thread like structure, okay, which will help in locomotion. So this is mainly the flagella. Okay, and the type 4 is the cilia. Okay, type 4 is the cilia. So what will happen in them is that these are small structure present throughout the body, and this helps in locomotion. Okay, I hope this much is clear. So we have learnt about different types of locomotion in protozoa. So first we have started with pseudopodia. We have learnt about pseudopodia, it is a false feet. Then we have learnt about the types based on numbers. First is the monopodia, then there is the polypodia. The monopodia means a single pseudopodia is formed. Polypodia means more than one pseudopodia is formed. Okay, then there we have studied about lobopodia, philopodia, reticulopodia and exopodia. So lobopodia, philopodia, what happens is that they help in locomotion. Main function is locomotion. Reticulopodia and exopodia, their main function is capturing food, and secondary function is locomotion. Okay, then we have studied about myonemes. These are present in Euglena. Okay, these are pellicular contractile structure. Pellicle is present beneath the or below the cell membrane. Okay, and this forms grooves. This pellicle forms grooves. Different types of structure is formed in different types of myonemes, but here we have discussed only about Euglena. Okay, and then we have discussed about flagella and cilia. Flagella and cilia means flagella is the long structure and cilia is the small structure present throughout the body. Okay, so thank you everyone.